You won't find Oz's Wicked Witch of the West here. No green-faced, pointy hat-wearing, broom-riding witches here. These witches are of a different breed. Foul, repulsive, greasy, serpent-tongued, withered old crones who exude an aura of evil. We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. We're down in the hollers of Kentucky, deep in the Appalachian Mountains, where evil lurks. If this sounds like a book you're interested in, stick around after the intro. What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I'm back with another book review for you guys. If you happen to be new to the channel, I read a lot of indie and small press horror, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Check out some of the other content on the channel, and maybe you'll discover a book that you enjoy. But for today's book review, we're going to be talking about Sour by Tony Evans, and this is put out by Dead Man's Tome Publishing. So I actually bought this directly from Tony at like a little Comic-Con type event in my hometown way at the beginning of the year. It feels like forever ago now. I think it was like January or February. Definitely a different time and place. But he was kind enough to sign it for me, which is really cool. And I did want to mention the cover art is done by A.A. Medina. And that witch on there is looking rather nasty. I really dig the cover art. But this is actually my second experience reading anything by Tony. Just recently, the last review you got from me was Appalachian Horror, and he has a short story in here called Blood is Thicker, I believe. Yeah, Blood is Thicker. And the short story felt similar in tone and location and theme and whatnot to Sour. So when I got done reading both of these, I asked Tony if the short story was related to Sour at all. He said, no, not really, but they do take place in the same universe, and I thought that was pretty cool. I really love it when an author connects their different stories and world building and sort of build a universe like the King does himself. I just find that a really cool, extra thing to their stories if they add sort of tidbits here and there and connect everything together in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be super overt, just subtle connections. I just find that really cool. But here in Sour, Tony, he concocts a potent mix of folklore, horror, and witchcraft. From the opening pages of Sour, we're dumped right into the thick of it. Evans, he doesn't make us wait around into the third act to witness the powers of black magic at work. We get to bear witness as the forces of evil are unleashed upon our protagonist and his family right from the very beginning. Sam Fletcher has crossed the wrong witch, and now he must repent for his sins. The cost for Sam's transgressions, though, it's all too precious, as the things he cares for the most in this world are violently ripped away. His life, it's now in shambles, and he's hell-bent on taking back what was stolen from him and serving up a cold dish of revenge. So 2 years after the prologue, we find Sam and his best friend Anthony. They finally track down this witch. They've captured her, but it might have been a little too easy. Sour sets a blistering, foot mashed down to the floor kind of pace. Evans, he does ease off the gas a little bit to allow us to catch our breath with a few well-placed character and world-building flashback scenes, building up the folklore of these witches and getting to know our characters a bit more through some flashbacks. But then he slams that foot back down on the gas pedal as we're thrown back into our seat, hurtling towards the finish line. I really love the display and descriptions of witchcraft that Evans put here in the book. There's no potions, there's no bubbling cauldrons. These powers, they felt dark and ancient. From soul stealing to control and influence over animals, to hallucinations and mind games, to downright eating and devouring whatever stands in your way. These are the witches that nightmares are made of. Evans, he also doesn't shy away from depictions of graphic violence and gore. If you're a fan of gore, you'll really dig this one. But at no time did it ever felt gratuitous or just added for the shock value of it. The violence and gore, it was really well done and fell in place with the story and the situations that were being put in front of us. If I had one small negative with the book, it would be the editing. There are some typos throughout, and there are other instances where you can tell words were meant to have been taken out, but they were left in to double up on some words. But at no point did it ever distract me from the story or disengage me from the story that was being told. I just wanted to mention that they are there because I know for some people that can be a turnoff. But at no point, like I said, did the typos or the misplacement of words ever draw me out of the story, but I did notice that they were there. So some people might think the ending to the book is a bit abrupt, and I can see that argument, but for me it really worked well. It's a very bleak ending, and if you've been a fan of the channel for any amount of time, you know I enjoy the bleak endings. Two sayings come to mind when thinking about the end of the book. Be careful what you wish for, and play with fire and you'll get burned. Somewhere in the story, Sam makes a deal with the proverbial devil, and he must reap what he has sown by the end of the book. I thought the tone of the ending definitely fell in line with the rest of the story that was already laid out for us. It's a bleak story throughout, and why not have a bleak ending to go on top of that? But it does leave it a little open-ended for a possible sequel, which I would totally be down for a sequel to this. But in closing, dripping with tension and soaked with dread, Sour by Tony Evans seizes you by the throat and drags you kicking and screaming towards its viciously gruesome end. These witches creeping within the pages are not for the faint of heart. They're vile and terrifyingly powerful. This is the kind of witch book I was looking for. I read a witch book earlier in the month, or maybe last month, and it was just okay. But this was what I was looking for in a witch book. If you are a fan of folklore, stories set in Appalachia, witches and witchcraft, definitely give this one a shot. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm going to land on 4 stars. I really liked it. The minor things that I didn't like about it didn't detract from the story for me at all. It was fast-paced, it was blistering, it was violent and bloody and gruesome, and the witches were just nasty. And that's really what I was looking for. Nasty and scary. Make witches scary again. This has been my 4-star review of Sour by Tony Evans. Also, real quick, I want to mention how the title comes about, Sour. I really enjoyed that play, how it was set up in the book, describing why it's called Sour. I won't tell you all. You'll have to read it for yourself. But I thought that part was a nice little detail added, a nice little fun twist to the book. But that is all I have for you guys today. Again, this has been my 4-star review of Sour by Tony Evans. That's all I have for you guys today, so thank you for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.